Hey, what's up, guys? I've had this book for a while. Okay, the famous Lord Byron. Um, there's a collection of his work. His most of it's in the I guess you'd say a narrative poetry, dramatic poetry. Right? This is where like poems and I mean Shakespeare. A lot of it is like poetry, right? And of course, Lord Byron was one of the famous romantics, as they say, from the early 20th century. Um, a lot of his work. He was in the East a lot, right? He fought in the for the freedom of the Greeks against the Turks, and he was a scandalous person back in England. Um, he's pretty much the archetype for all the Byronic hero, as you hear. Of course, Anne Rice's work is very much based on this character, this person who was very I've never read his work really. I read the story that was based on him that Polidori wrote about this vampire that was based on him. Uh, and I've actually read the work now, and it really the guy really was amazing. Okay, it really is good. And I'm just gonna focus. I mean, there's so much stuff on here. Don Juan. There's so many things he has, but I'm gonna just focus on briefly the thing that made the dramatic poem that made him famous. But then I want to focus on probably one of my favorite supernatural horror, gothic, whatever you want to call it, dramas that I had never heard of, but which has been mentioned by Lovecraft and other people. Manfred. When I finally read Manfred, it really struck me in a lot of ways. Probably because of the experiences of my life, and it really cut to the soul of what European people, man, is really going through at this late time. Um, the defiance, almost for the sake of defiance, and the seeking of oblivion. Um, anyway, the story that actually put his name on the map was something called, I don't even know what it means, from 1813, the Giaour. I guess that's a word for some kind of warrior or something, right? It's basically a story about some non-Muslim man has an affair with the sultan's woman, harem woman, which i.e. to say slave, right? And he finds out, and he basically has her wrapped up in a carpet and thrown into the water to drown. And this Giaour, this warrior, avenges her and gets this guy. So I'm just gonna read just briefly because I want to focus a little more on Manfred, but I'm just gonna go over this here. Climb of the unforgotten brave, whose land from plain to mountain cave was freedom's home or glory's grave. Shrine of the mighty, can it be that this is all that remains of thee? Approach, thou craven crouching slave. Say, is not this the Mapale? These waters blue that round you lave, O servile offspring of the free. Pronounce, what sea, what shore is this? The gulf, the rock of Salamis. These scenes, their story not unknown. Arise and make again your own. Snatch from the ashes of your sires the embers of their former fires. And he who in the strife expires will add to their name, to theirs a name of fear, that tyranny shall quake to hear, and leave his sons a hope of fame. They too will rather die than shame. For freedom's battle once begun, bequeathed by bleeding sire to son, though baffled oft as ever won. Bear witness, Greece, thy living page. Attest it many a deathless age, while kings in dusty darkness hid, have left a nameless pyramid. Thy heroes, through the general doom, have swept the column from their tomb. A mightier monument command the mountains of their native land. There points thy muse to strangers' eye, the graves of those that cannot die. 'Twere long to tell and sad to trace each step from splendor to disgrace. Enough, no foreign foe could quell thy soul till from itself it fell. Yet self-abasement paved the way to villain bonds and despot sway. Now, beyond the horror and the Gothic, yeah, okay, he's not talking about the land of Greece and these proud people of a proud race, abased into slaves and down on their knees, being literally occupied. Now, can you wonder why this passage has so much meaning for us? Amazing. And there's a little scene here. We'll get into the horror thing where the vampire. The vampire is a ubiquitous creature. But you get a little sample here. I'll read that. But thou, false infidel, shall writhe beneath avenging Munkir's scythe, and from its torments scape alone, to wander round lost Eblis' throne, and fire unquenched, unquenchable, around within thy heart shall dwell, nor ear can hear, nor tongue can tell, the tortures of the inward hell. But first on earth as vampire sent, thy corpse shall from its tomb be rent, then ghastly haunt thy native place, and suck the blood of all thy race. There from thy daughter, sister, wife, at midnight drain the stream of life, yet loathe the banquet which perforce must feed thy livid living corpse. Thy victim, ere they set expire, shall know the demon for their sire. As cursing thee, thou cursing them, thy flowers are withered on the stem, but one that for thy crime must fall, the youngest, the most beloved of all, shall bless thee with thy father's name. That word shall wrap thy heart in flame. Yet must thou end thy task and mark her cheek's last tinge, her eyes' last spark. Yeah, that was kind of cool. And this is just, this is like a little, like a historical document of occupied Greece. Of course, Byron ended his days there. He died of sickness, but he was fighting to free the Greeks from the Turks, the Ottomans. All right. So now we're going to go to... apparently this was never staged or stage limited or something. Manfred. Now, of course, this is a what they call a dramatic poem. Okay? And this is... Manfred is basically a sorcerer, okay, who has a tragic past. And all he wants is to talk for a moment to a woman that he loved who tragically died. That's all he wants, and he's willing to raise and pay any price to do that. And of course, the various supernatural beings resent him because he is a powerful human. He's a human that is able to actually better them and play them. So they want to basically finally take him out for this moment of weakness that he wants to talk to his beloved. But Manfred, his will is stronger than even the devil himself. So we'll just go. Let's read some lines here. Let's see. Like this. Manfred, daughter of air, I tell thee since that hour, but words are breath. Look on me in my sleep, or watch my watchings come and sit by me. My solitude is solitude no more, but peopled with the furies. I have gnashed my teeth in darkness till returning morn, then cursed myself till sunset. I have prayed for madness as a blessing. 'Tis denied me. I have affronted death, but in the war of elements the water shrunk from me, and fatal things passed harmless. The cold hand of an old pitiless demon held me back by a single hair which would not break. In fantasy, imagination, all the affluence of my soul, which one day was a Croesus in creation, I plunged deep, but like an ebbing wave it dashed me back into the gulf of my unfathomed thought. I plunged amidst mankind. Forgetfulness I sought in all, save where 'tis to be found, and that I have yet to learn. My sciences, my long pursued and superhuman art, is mortal here. I dwell in my despair and live. and live forever. And he's talking to a witch right now, and the witch is, that is not in my providence, but if thou wilt swear obedience to my will and do my bidding, it may help thee to thy wishes. And Manfred's like, what? I will not swear. Obey? And whom? The spirits whose presence I command, and then be the slave of those who served me? Never. Right, so he tells the witch basically to get lost, So I'm gonna wrap this out here. So basically, like, they try to get him, but Manfred is just, at this point, everyone knows he's damned. And one of the abbots from the church tries to come and basically sway him from this and seek the Lord, your Lord and Savior. But Manfred just replies to him, it's, when Rome's sixth emperor was near his last, the victim of a self-inflicted wound, to shun the torments of a public death, from senates once his slaves, a certain soldier, with show of loyal pity, would have stanched the gushing throat with his officious robe. The dying Roman thrust him back and said, some empire still in his expiring glance, it is too late. Is this fidelity? Right. And of course the abbot's like, and what of this? Manfred, I answered with the Roman, it is too late. Right. It's always later than you think. And he's saying he's made his decision, his destiny. Okay? Faustian man. And the abbot is shown to be a very, is shown to be a sympathetic character. He just wants to help this tortured man. So there's a lot of good stuff. I wish someone would have made this into a drama or some kind of thing, some kind of play. But anyway, let's round this out here. All right. Manfred, at the end, he gets confronted by all these demons. They just want to take him out and drag him to hell, but they don't know who they're messing with. Okay? Thou false fiend, thou liest. My life is in its last hour. That I know. Nor would redeem a moment of that hour. I do not combat against death, but thee and thy surrounding angels. My past power was purchased by no compact with thy crew, but by superior science, penance, daring, and length of watching, strength of mind and skill, in knowledge of our fathers, when the earth saw men and spirits walking side by side, and gave ye no supremacy. I stand upon my strength and do defy, deny, spurn back, and scorn ye. But thy many crimes have made thee. What are they such as thee? Must crimes be punished but by other crimes, and greater criminals? Back to thy hell. Thou hast no power upon me, that I feel. Thou shalt never possess me, that I know. What I have done is done. I bear within a torture which could not gain from thine. The mind, which is immortal, makes itself requital for its good or evil thoughts, is its own origin of ill and end, and its own place of time. Its innate sense, when stripped of this mortality, derives no color from the fleeting things without, but is absorbed in sufferance or in joy, born from the knowledge of its own desert. Thou didst not tempt me, and thou couldst not tempt me. I have not been thy dupe, nor am thy prey, but was my own destroyer, and will be my own hereafter. Back, ye baffled fiends! The hand of death is on me, but not yours. The demons disappear. Yeah, the demons are like, oh damn, dude, this dude's crazy. Anyway, so, and probably screwed up some of that reading, but I'm not a drama person. Okay, so that was just two things from Lord Byron, but Manfred, of course, is absolutely amazing. Okay, as someone who is lost, someone who I still grieve for and will grieve for the rest of my days. And of course, grieving for the end and the dying of my people. There was a lot of it was really, really powerful, and you should read it. Manfred should get more attention than it does in Gothic literature. All right, let's get to something a little less heavy later.